Hi, Jeff. Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Elena.
You are 40 years in personal development. It is a
Uh,
number. So, tell me a little bit about yourself and what is your biggest, you would say, takeaway from this 40 years experience?
yeah, it's
Like,
actually more like 50 years since
oh,
I was 19 years old. A friend of mine, we were in high school, and he did something called EST, which is now called the Landmark Forum. And it was a training program to help you live your best life. And his name was Ron. And after Ron did the training program, um, being with him was like being at a party. And I knew that when Ron was without me, when he was someplace else, he was still at the party and I wasn't. And so I took that class also so that I could be at the party. And I was with them for like 10 years doing all kinds of seminars and retreats. I managed seminars for them. It was really life changing. And uh, all my life, I've read books and gone to seminars and listened to gurus because I'm constantly trying to be the best version of myself that I can possibly be. Um, of all the things I've done, I think the thing that made the most impact was working one-on-one with a personal coach. I was very, very fortunate to meet an incredible woman who is a superstar coach and really life-changing. Improved my relationships, my ability to earn money, just really fantastic. I'm always trying to be the best me.
wow. Your family should be lucky to have you. The best father, the best husband, the best son. Yeah,
Well, I think my mom thinks I'm pretty good and my kids love me. I'm not so sure about my ex-wife, but I always try my best.
yeah, amazing. So, what you would say about attitude? I think that attitude towards life determines life attitude toward us, right? And this is your attitude to be the best version of yourself. It doesn't mean that you compare yourself with somebody, right? But you want to be the best. So,
Yeah,
how this attitude helps you to really be the best?
yeah. I'm definitely not trying to be better than anybody else. That I'm not. I'm only in competition with me. But my attitude is I want to enjoy every minute that I possibly can of this life. And as I get older and older, I realize that time passes very quickly. I'm
Mm-hmm.
69 years old, and I'm closer to death than I am to birth. So my attitude is that everything's a choice. You choose to be happy, you choose to be sad, you choose to be rich, you choose to be broke. Whatever it is, you're pretty much you're choosing it. And my choice is to be happy almost every minute of every day because I don't want to. It's 11:30 here in New York, and in about after you and I get done talking, I'm going to go get lunch. And I don't want to walk across the street to the deli to get a sandwich, get hit by a car, and have my final waking thought on this earth be, damn it, I wasted the last morning on earth being pissed off about something stupid because most things are pretty stupid. I'm not saying there aren't big, important things going on in the world, all over the world, certainly here in the United States, but it's just too short. So I choose to be happy almost all the time, which is part of the reason why I'm in stand up comedy.
Yes, amazing, amazing. Yes, we can choose always to be happy, and it doesn't depend even on outside circumstances because the same outside circumstances are for everybody, but different people make different choices and they choose different where to put their attention, right? So they put their attention to things which worth and which are worthy of their attention.
Yeah. And I don't want to make it seem like outside circumstances don't mean anything. They certainly do. But you cannot let the outside circumstances dictate how it's going to affect you. Look, there's a lot of problems in the world. You shared with me that you're originally from Ukraine. I'm guessing that if you're living in some areas of Ukraine, it's very difficult to wake up and be happy every moment. Or if you're living in Gaza right now, or it's hard. There's stuff. If you're starving, if there's war going on, here in America, we've got insane politics going on. I'm very fortunate. I consider myself blessed that I I do well financially. I take care of my children. I live in a nice home. So it makes it certainly easier. But it really does come down to choosing every minute of every day. Here's how I'm going to react to any given circumstance. Here's how I'm going to choose to live my life. Uh, I like to laugh and have a good time. That's not to say I'm not sad sometimes. That happens occasionally. And I cry sometimes too. But for the most part, I'm just trying to enjoy the time that I have. And
Yes.
I do believe your attitude influences that. Here's something that you might find interesting, or you're probably aware, but every morning I wake up and I have a routine. Uh, he's laying behind me, so I'm going to have to spell this. Every day I get up and I WALK the DOG. If I said those words, he would have jumped up just now because it's almost time for that. But as I'm doing that first thing in the morning, I'm talking to myself out loud with a smile on my face. Literally, I look like this walking down the street, and I know I look like an idiot right now with this big smile on my face. But when you smile, it releases the happy chemicals in your brain, endorphins and oxytocin and things like that, dopamine. And I have a routine. I say the same thing every morning. Today is going to be a great day. Only incredibly wonderful things are going to happen to myself and my family today. And then I name each member of my family. And then I say, I'm going to help lots of people today. And everybody I interact with is going to be thrilled that they were touched by me. And then I have things that I say about my physical health and about my money and my attitude, all that stuff. And it takes about 10 minutes, but I believe that you will set up your day for success and happiness, or you set up your day for failure. And my personal belief, Elena, is that most people, and I'm not judging them, it's just the way it is. Most people wake up in the morning and they say something like, oh shit, I can't believe I've got to go to work again today. Well, I got to go to work too, except you know what? I'm happy. I love my work. I love helping people the way I do. And I'm setting up my day to be successful. I'm setting up my day to be happy, as opposed to, oh crap, or is it Friday yet? Now, I like weekends too. But to me, the trick is, how do you enjoy Monday through Friday afternoon, not just Friday night through Sunday night?
Yes, exactly. And it is also habits, right? Like you start your day with these habits, and it was not always. And you put attention to create these habits. So now, when you wake up in the morning, you already automatically you know what you are going to say to yourself, how you want to smile, how you want to show up. Yes, and it is not automatically. That what I would like to discuss a little bit about this, about the intention and understanding why we need the new habits, and why we need to even prime ourselves for expecting good to happen, even if we live in different situation. But we have choice. We can go, for example, me, we left Ukraine when the airport got bombed just 2 kilometers far from our house, and I made decision to leave Ukraine with my daughter who was just 14 and my mother who was 85. And I could make different decision, right? I could just think that, oh, I cannot do nothing. Where we will go, there is nothing that depends on me. I just have to see what happens, right? It is always like in every situation, it is us to take responsibility and make decision based on what we can do, right? And I also learned that when we make decisions, it shouldn't come from curiosity or doubt or fear, because if we make decision based from that state of fear, it will always be wrong decision, and it can cause even more fear in future. But when we make decision from the place where we want to be, right, we can create even in midst of the house, which we found ourselves like morning, it was dark 5 a.m. or even like around 5 a.m. and all this noise coming, you don't know what is happening, and you can make different decisions, right? But if you have that habit, again I want to come back to habits. Why the habits are so important? Because if you have the right mindset and habits to make decisions based on where you want to be, what you can do, it will always help you to get yourself to the better place.
Yeah, you used a word that I think is very, very important a minute ago, and that word is responsibility. we either accept responsibility that we are in charge of our own lives, or we're at the whim of whatever comes at us. And the fact is, we actually are all responsible for our own lives. We make choices, we make decisions, we take actions, or we don't. But we really are responsible. And it was years. I think I was 31 before I actually realized that, oh, if I'm not making enough money, guess who's responsible for that? If I'm not in the best health, if I don't have a great relationship, I'm responsible for all of it. And I think a lot of people like to blame everyone else and everything else. Oh, if only I'd been born here, or if only this, or if only that. I call that living in the if onlys. If only I had a better car, if only I had a better wife. You chose what you've got. You attracted that into your life, and you made a decision, even though you may not have made it consciously. So I love that word responsibility, absolutely 100%. And you talked about goals and living into what you want. I actually co-authored a book on setting and achieving goals, and there's a science to it. And most people, I find, don't take the time to create the life that they want, or even realize that they can. Now, I'm not saying that everybody can be a billionaire if that's what they want to do. I mean, I guess anybody could if they really tried. It's all a matter of, what are you committed to? And are you really committed and willing to, A, take the time to learn how to do that, and B, willing to pay the price? Because I do believe there's a price to pay for everything. So if you want to be wealthy, you're going to have to give up certain things and do certain things. If you want to be skinny and beautiful, you got to eat a certain way and exercise. So it's can you actually realize that you are responsible and you can do anything? Then will you take the time to create the plan and the vision for what you're going to achieve? And then the most important thing to me, and I use this with my coaching clients all the time, commitment. I use that word constantly. When I take on a new coaching client, I'm a sales coach and trainer. When I take on a new coaching client, I'll always ask people what their goal is. And usually I'll hear something like this. Well, I want to make $100,000 a year, or I hope to make $80,000, whatever their number is. I hope, I wish. And I always tell people the same thing. I don't care what you hope for. I don't care what your dreams are. I don't care what your wishes are. I don't care about any of that. As a human being, I care about all that stuff. But as a coach, I only care about one thing. What are you committed to? Because commitment drives everything. You want to lose weight? Terrific. You're not going to. You're committed to losing weight, then guess what? You're going to eat less food and better food. You're going to exercise, and you're going to drink more water. Because if you're committed, you take the actions you need to take in order to achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve, whatever goal there is, whatever picture you have in your mind for what you're looking to have in your life. But it boils down to responsibility, like you said, and commitment.
Yeah. And let's combine all this together. So responsibility comes from awareness that you can do more than it seems that you can do. Yes, that ability to see picture that bigger than current circumstances. This ability, which is given to us by God, because we are creators. Yeah, we are not like other creatures, like animals, because they can just do something according to those programs. They cannot paint, they cannot dream something big, right? They only operate in those programs which they installed in their brain. But human beings are only the highest form of creation, which we supposed to be. I cannot now agree that everybody is the highest form, right? But potentially, let's say, potentially we are the highest form of creation, and this ability to think big and detach from facts, detach from this physical reality, and create the image in your mind. And you don't need money for that, you don't need any resources. You are the resources, right? Like if you have that resources to use your mind and create something bigger that what you had before, what you have now, but something that you really can see yourself there, like connect to your heart and just dream. Like children, when they are small, they dream. Yes, and they cannot differentiate when they are in their dreams, because they just are there. They are just happy, they have those emotions, they have experience, and they can tell what happened with them when they play together, right? When they maybe went to another planet or whatever. They really experience this. And I think that responsibility comes from that first, when you can become bigger than your current situation, then you can see bigger picture, when you're not just like horse which doesn't see nothing, just only this very tiny how to say,
It's got
internet.
blinders on.
Yes. So I think that this comes with awareness. When people understand that, okay, this is my life, as you said, many people now in different countries, they really suffer from everything what happens. But again, only us can give the meaning to the situation, right? And only us, if we really can see, okay, what I can do. Like for me, it was the same. Like I could never think that it can happen in Ukraine. I remember that a few years ago when I was looking at Syria, when they had that conflict in Syria, and when I was looking at those pictures and saw that children sitting in basements on shelves, and this is I would never think even that the same picture I can see about Ukraine, when children there were sitting underground and all this happening. So we never know, right, like what happened, but we can have these habits of mindset toughness, I would say, resilience. And this mindset toughness we can develop to lead us. So in any situation that happen, because we don't know, right, we never know what happened tomorrow, but if we have that mindset toughness, it gives us to focus on what we can do instead of just being panicking. Because when people start panicking, this is how they totally can do like something that doesn't even is not good for them, right? Because when panicking, people cannot make decision, they cannot think, like totally out. And that's why habits are very important when
Yeah,
it comes to, yeah.
I like
Mhm.
what you said about children. I think we almost all need to be more childlike, because when you are a child, like you said, you can go to other planets. I can be a spaceman or a doctor, or I can be anything. And then as we get older and life happens, and we do have to become more responsible, we kind of give up that childlike nature. We forget to be joyful. We forget that there is joy and beauty all around us. And again, I can't speak to what's going on in Ukraine or in Gaza right now. I haven't lived in a war zone, and I can only assume. I'm sure I can't even come close to understanding how horrible that must be. But for most of us on the planet who are not living in that type of situation, it's, be like a child. Who has the most fun? Children. So
Mhm.
I personally am not interested in being with anybody who doesn't have that great attitude, who's a downer, who wants to bitch about everything. I'm just not interested. It's why I hang out alone a lot. And it's also why I love doing stand-up comedy and being in comedy clubs, because everybody's there for a reason. They're there to laugh and have a good time. And isn't that really what it's all about? Get out there and laugh and have a good time. And I just want to come back to a point you said earlier, that we're the highest form of being on the planet. I'm only half joking when I say dogs are really the highest form. I think dogs are the best thing on the planet. They love unconditionally, and all they
Mhm.
want to do is just love you to pieces and go sniff and have a great time. I don't know if people will only be hearing this as a podcast, but that's a picture of my dog. He's a pug, and you can see he's got a big smile on his face, and I sometimes just stare at him. I'm like, oh, I actually wish I was you. I'd like to be my dog. He looks out the window and he's looking around, he's barking and he's playing. Dogs are truly the best thing on the planet. So you're right. Human beings are the highest order, because we do have choice, and we have opposable thumbs and things like that. But boy, oh boy, I sure love dogs.
Yeah, you have amazing dog. Great. Yeah, so yeah, responsibility, awareness, decision making, and we can have so many things to change when we take that part, and willing to change, right? Willing to change, willing to go out of comfort zone, willing to learn something new. Because as you said, you want to be the best version of yourself. It means that you constantly want to learn something, right? You constantly want to grow, because nothing stays the same. We are growing, improving, or we go backwards. So it is really great to see that people like you, that you are committed for your success, for your happiness, and also you share the joy with people. You have a beautiful dog.
And three gorgeous kids and a great life. And I think something else that's important, Elena, is coming from a mindset of service, of helping others. I just watched a video from Simon Sinek. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's
Yeah. Mhm.
fantastic. And in this video, he's talking about uh, the Navy SEALs, the U.S. Navy SEALs. And it's a very, very difficult program to go through. I mean, they're the toughest of the tough. And he was talking about the type of person that makes it through Navy SEALs training. And I'm not going to do this justice because he goes on and on, but he talks about, the college jock, the athlete who comes in and, they're used to being the star. Those guys don't make it. And the guys who come in with big muscles and tattoos all over them, who think they're tough guys, they don't make it. And he lists all kinds of people who don't make it. And he said, here's who makes it through Navy SEAL training, which is supposedly just incredibly difficult and very challenging. He said, the person who makes it through Navy SEAL training doesn't have to be big muscles. Sometimes they're scrawny guys, but it's the type of person who can, when they're exhausted and have nothing more to give, and when they're shivering with cold and everything looks horrible, can turn to the person next to them and say, how can I help you? How can I
Mm.
serve you? So it's coming from that place of serving others. And it makes you feel good, and it also helps them. And I think when we come from, we're not alone. As much as I like being alone, because I deal with a lot of people all day long, and I really do value my alone time. The truth is we're all connected on the planet. There's billions of us, and it's sad that a lot of us just can't get along. I think there's so much possibility that if we just stop fighting each other and stop making each other wrong and stop having to prove our point of view, stop lying to each other, there's so much possibility to make this already pretty terrific world even better than it is. And it's up to us and people like yourself who are spreading the word to take responsibility for that.
Yes, that's why I enjoy this podcast experience, because this is how we connect and how we bring this message to the world, how we can support people who need this knowledge, who need this, even to hear this information and understand that they can go through different situations, and they can reach out to mentors, to coaches. There are so many people who are ready to help when people are open to receive that help. And I think that now world needs this awareness. Yes, that people just need to wake up and just see that it doesn't work when they just live as robots, as this conditioned, programmed machines. And people don't live their life, they don't enjoy, they think that they will be happy somewhere, like somehow in the future, when they do this, when do they do that, and that never happens. So it is all about mindset, to be happy today, to be happy what you have, and see bigger picture for yourself.
Yeah. The program that I first took, the one that's called EST, was founded by a gentleman named Werner Erhard. And one of his sayings was, it's easier to ride the horse in the direction it's going. So many of us are fighting the way things are. It's jump on the horse and ride in the direction it's going. And if you're not happy with your circumstances, take responsibility and take action. I'm not saying everybody can get out of a miserable circumstance and suddenly be happy overnight and be wealthy overnight, but most of us have at least a little more time on this planet. I keep telling my children I'm going to live to 120 because I started my family late in life, so I've still got another 40 or 50 years. But time is short. And if you're waiting for, when I get this car, or I meet this person, or I live in this neighborhood, you might be waiting a long, long time. And why not? why not choose to be happy now, no matter what the circumstances? And are there times when it's not appropriate to be happy? Yeah, I'm sure. At a funeral, I'm not necessarily happy that somebody's dead, but for most of the time, why walk around being miserable? Why walk around being angry? Why walk around being upset? And by the way, I'm not perfect. I still get annoyed with people like traffic. Traffic drives me crazy. People who don't know how to use their turn signals or are driving too slow. It gets to me. But I've learned over the years to be aware of what's going on and go, you know what? So I'm going to get someplace 30 seconds later. So this person drives like an a-hole. Okay, is that really going to affect my life? No, I'm not going to let it affect my peace of mind and my happiness because, again, time is short.
Yes, exactly. So this comes from to gratitude, right? We can feel happy when we start acknowledging what we have, even if we don't have much, but we still have something, right? We have eyes, we have hands, we have legs. Some people don't have that even, right? So
Yeah.
it is always there are so many reasons what to be grateful for, and when we find those reasons every day, what we're grateful for, and that we focus on what we have and what we can do more, right? So this brings the happiness when you acknowledge what you do, what you did, because some people, they can be very like ambitious, driven, they want to achieve big results, and they beat themselves, they just think what they didn't do, why they not achieve this, and they forget about acknowledging themselves what they already achieved, right? So so it is just the shift of perception. You do the same, but how you look at things. If you just want to beat yourself up all time and be stressful and anxious, so it will not bring you happiness, right? So even if you achieve something that you push yourself hard, but if the process doesn't bring you joy, why at all you need that? Because when you get there, you will be in the same state, and then you will just set another goal, and you will just do the same again and again, because it is like habitual behavior. So why not just to acknowledge yourself and enjoy life, just be present every moment, be grateful what you already have, and still do that, but
Yes.
with different perception and enjoying the process, because success is not just getting something, right? Success, it is how you every day, how you are in comparison who you were today, yesterday, and what you did yesterday. If you do it today better, this is already your success.
Yes. And it's not in comparison to anybody else. And I love what you said about gratitude. Look, I know lots of people with lots of money who are miserable. Miserable. Money doesn't make you happy. It makes it easier to be happy if you don't have to worry about how am I going to pay the rent, or how am I going to make the car payment, or how am I going to put food on my table. Obviously, it's easier, but you can have lots and lots of everything and still be miserable. And that attitude of gratitude that you mentioned, it's so important. People are often stunned when I say, I'm grateful for my ex-wife. Now, clearly we weren't meant to live together, but without my ex-wife, I wouldn't have my three wonderful children. And I consider her a friend and a great co-parent. And, she's a wonderful human being in so many ways. I'm grateful for her. And look, are there people who have way more than me? Yeah, lots and lots of them. But I was born in, I consider myself fortunate to have been born in America, which, as many problems as we have, is still a great country. I live in a beach house a block from the Atlantic Ocean, not a fancy place, but my circumstances are damn great. And I'm grateful for everything. And I consider just about everything a lesson. There's always something to learn. And you've got to stay conscious of what's going on right now. And you said, take responsibility. And if there's something that's missing from your life that you need, make a plan and go get it. Commit to it. Go get it. Uh, you know, I believe that we as human beings can do just about anything. I take exception when people say you can do anything. Well, I can't fly, unless I get on an airplane. So because I don't have wings. But if I'm committed to earning twice as much money as I earn right now, I can do that. It's what price are you going to pay, and what plan are you going to come up with, and how are you going to implement it, and take responsibility. So that's the key for me.
Yeah, Thank you very much, Jeff. It was really a good conversation, and I'm sure that people who listen to us, they will find so much value in it.
It's my pleasure, and thank you for having me on your show.
You're welcome. So I'm looking forward to speak to you again.
Anytime.